Welcome back. So on our last video, we solved the Punnett square problem using single trait. Now, for today, for part 2, we're going to up the ante. Meaning, we're going to challenge ourselves. So what if we will feature multiple traits? How are we going to solve the Punnett square? I have here my notebook, my really old notebook that I used for my notes for this one. So we have here an example. So our example here is a black polled Angus cow. So the female this time is a homozygous black Angus cow, and mostly Angus are actually polled, they don't have horns, and the male is a Hereford. So usually for Hereford, they're actually red. So red is actually a recessive trait, so it's in small letter B's, and usually for Herefords they also have horns, thus they have this one. So how are we going to solve the Punnett square? This is quite challenging, so you really have to pay attention. Now, because we're going to use Gregor Mendel's law of independent assortment, a law of segregation. There are two laws, Mendelian laws, by the way. Law of segregation, wherein the formation of a germ cell or gamete, the two genes at a locus in the parent cell are separated, and only one gene being incorporated into each germ cell. So this one will go to one ova, this one will go to another ova, and most likely, since again, our cow can only produce one ovum, so this one or this one could be it on the ovum. The others will become polar bodies if you review your gametogenesis. And then we also have this one and this one. So either of these traits will be present in the ovum. But in the sperm cell, this one or this one or this one or this one will be featured. And the second law of Mendel is the law of independent assortment, meaning genes assort independently during meiosis and are formed in equal proportions. So there's independent segregation of genes at a different loci location. Now, we're going to use the two laws with this one before we solve the Punnett square problem. So I'm going to use this one and this one, small letter BP. And then this one, and then this one, we also have letter B and P. This one and this one, we have B and P. And then this one and this one, we also have B and P. So these are the ones that are featured on your Punnett square for the female line. For the male line, so these are the ones that you will feature on the male line. So we already have our possible gametes or possible traits that were independently assorted and segregated. So here we go. So how are we going to solve this? So first, similar to how we solved the previous problem, we have to answer it by the square. So this square and this square, this square and this square, this square and this square, this square and this square. Common mistakes done by my students before is that they mixed up the traits. Like for example, when I see this in your Punnett square, this is automatically wrong. Because again, this one will occupy a different location on the chromosome, while this one will also appear in a different location in the chromosome. Because these are the genes for black, the color of the animal, and this is also the gene if the animal has horns or not. If you mix it up like this is automatically wrong because supposed to be each gene should be paired with its proper gene. So B should be paired with the letter B. Do you understand? So these are one of the common mistakes that my students often commit when we have our Punnett square exercises. So we'll finish filling this up. Also, your obsessive compulsiveness will come in handy. So usually it's small letter, big letter first, and small letter, big letter and small letter. If you're answering this on your paper, you may use a grid or a ruler so that you will not get confused. So we'll finish this problem. Now we're done. Now, there will be questions like, what would be the possibility, what would be the probability that the offspring could share the same genotype as that of its dam, their mother, or sire, or their father? What could be the possibility? Do they have, again, the dams is B, 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 P, P, P. That's the female. While the male is B, B, P, P. Is there a possibility? Now you have to check first if which of the boxes that we have here has the same genotype as this one. Do we have? No. Wala. How about the male? Same as the male. Do we have any of the 16 boxes that we solve have the same genotype as that of the father or the sire or the male? Do we have? None. So all of the possibilities would possibly be a heterozygous black with heterozygous polled. So the offspring between a homozygous black polled female with a homozygous red horned male will have a heterozygote or heterozygous black and polled offspring, regardless of sex. Now, why 16? Because there are 4 possible combinations coming from the mother and 4 possible combinations coming from the father. So 4 possible combinations times 4 possible combinations, that's equal to 16. So thus we made 16 boxes for our Punnet square. So how are we going to solve this? So this one, since the mother doesn't have, none of the squares have the same genotype as that of the mother, it's 0 out of 16 times 100. So that's 0%. How about the father? Zero out of 16 times 100. So that's 0%. How about the other combination? So as it seems, so 16, all 16 boxes have this genotype, thus so 100% is the probability of the offspring to be a heterozygous black and a heterozygous polled individual. If you do have questions, you may comment on the video. And on the next video, we will have another Punnet square problem. This time, this involves our favorite Labrador retrievers. Until then, see you later.